Welcome to 5-Star Weekly. This week we talk about how it's Giorgos Giakoumakis' world and we're just living in it. We're also joined by the Gulch and we answer your burning questions in the mailbag, including how Atlanta United Fan TV started. Get into all that and more coming up. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button on YouTube. Welcome to the show, 5-Star fam. I'm AJ and this is Michael. And big boy hit the golden spike, and that's what happens when an Atlanta legend hits the golden spike. You just cream a team 4-1. I mean, one half of the best rap duo ever in history, in music history, and yeah, this is the beauty of it. I think there's a strong correlation to that, at least for me, because the hype for me is through the roof when big boy shows up. But yeah, in terms of we'll get into the match real quick, but in the match review, but let's give some massive love to our loyal Patreon members. And Gavin, Jordan, Niall, Andrew, Chris, much love to you all. But guys, let's get into this match review then. So it's 4-1. Atlanta United over the New England Revolution, and yeah, I mean, the home opener couldn't have gone any better except for probably maybe a clean sheet, which is ever elusive. But yeah, in front of 67,727, third highest in the world over the weekend. We showed out, we showed up, we creamed the Revs, and it's, I mean, in large part, it still wasn't a perfect match. I mean, 4-1 flatters us, I feel like, a little bit. That first half, a little bit back and forth, could have gone either way a little bit. The Revs hit the crossbar. They also had the first shot of the match, which at the near post on the left, on our left anyway. It could have been a different story. It could have been, we could have went down early. But we were able to weather the storm, ride a little bit of the luck. And when we were able to win that first penalty, even after getting the ball in the back of the net, which replacement refs, come on, the ball's already in the back of the net. I mean, it's just like, why are we doing this? It's just, we're just wasting time. The inevitable is gonna happen. But it did. And, Giorgos Giakoumakis, he did one of the first of many good things in this match. He won the penalty. Saba had it in the back of the net, but, after a little bit of interplay in the box, but ultimately Thiago Mata stepped up to the penalty spot and was able to put it away for the first goal. Let's actually get first your opinion, kind of on a large whole of the match. Like, what did you see? How was your feeling going into the match? And kind of a overarching thought on the match before we get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah, so if you remember what I said the previous episode before the game, I was pretty high on Atlanta United. I thought our display against Columbus Crew, although we lost away, I thought showed some improvements, even though the first half was shambolic and nightmarish. But the second half really showed something that I think we were going to take into the next game against a weak and a team that we should be putting to the sword. I thought that was going to be what would happen, and that is exactly what happened. You are not wrong. That one of those attempts where the ball hit off the crossbar against us, game state. That could have changed this drastically. I don't know how Atlanta United would have responded. I hope they would have just continued to pound the goals in, but that may not have been the case. It could have changed how New England played. We do know that New England changed when we scored the first one because they got drawn out and they came after us, and we were able to really slice and dice after that. The spaces were huge. We were able to operate. We cut them to pieces, which is what I was expecting, and I perhaps didn't anticipate that it relied so heavily on us scoring the first goal. I was hoping we could do that even when we're down, even against a bunker defense, but that remains to be seen. So that's going to be a little concerning if Orlando can get an early goal against us and then they sit back and then try to just play on the counter. That would be scary because I don't know how Atlanta United will react to that, how they'll try and break down a bunker defense. I want to hope that they'll just continue to play their game and they'll just overwhelm like they did against New England. New England, it was easier. New England didn't press very well. They allowed us to, build out the back pretty, unabated. And we pretty much were able to play the game we wanted to play. Columbus just didn't let us do that unless, we just, had better stamina and were able to just keep going longer than them towards the end of the second half of their game. But I think that overall, New England wasn't supposed to do well this game, and they didn't. We were supposed to do well this game, and we did. So, it's just that's the reason why I predicted things the way I thought that they would go, and I was right. I said 3-0. It was 4-1. Differential was there, but the actual full scoreline was not there, but I was close. There was a time I was right though, because it was at one point 3-0, and I thought maybe we won't let a soft squeaky goal in. Unfortunately, it wasn't that. It was Carlos Heel just hitting a worldie like he always seems to do. There's always one of those, so it makes me a little nervous about Nico Ladero against Orlando, but hopefully we can score a bunch against them just like we do of New England.
Yeah, and going into the match as well, there were some little bits of storylines where, New England Revolution with Caleb Porter, a pedigreed coach in the league, championship-winning type of coach. But they played in the CCC, the Champions Cup, earlier in the week, won 4-0 against Alajuelense, who, we know pretty well. But they were able to kind of coast. And it seems like, okay, well, they're 0-2 going into, this match in MLS. And it's a must win for them. But we were able to really, I think, kind of put a marker down that, hey, this team that, might be fighting for us, in some places in the East, probably in some similar spots, I would say, large in part with kind of the talent disposal at hand. I think it just, again, shows how difficult it is to win on the road. But it is, when you put up 4 goals, it's still pretty much a drubbing, however way you put it. We were absolutely just more clinical than they were, and that was through, of course, the Greek god. And that goal that was the penalty Thiago Almada put away, well put away. He's absolutely the number one penalty taker, of course, but we were able to win another one through Shanda Silva, who was very deft in his ability to put a cross in right into the area where a New England Revolution's player had his arm. And, he was not able to get his arm away, really. And I think it's a fitting penalty. It's just basically his arm was in an unnatural position, a little out too far. And I think simple as that, stonewall penalty. And the real question was, was Almada going to take a second one? And it wasn't the case. Giorgos Giakoumakis was actually let to take the penalty. And I think it makes plenty of sense. If you're Almada, Like, it only helps you when you have a guy that's, your striker, get on the score sheet. Well, the more balls you pump into him, well, if he puts more balls in, well, then, it only makes you look better too. So, it made a lot of sense to me. But, was it a surprise to you?
I mean, it shouldn't be. Because there's this thing on the internet where, just not just the internet, I guess, like in media in general, like people are like, well, yeah, he's the guy who almost won Golden Boot and he didn't even need to take penalties. It's like, and that was this, oh, wow, look at that. That's incredible. What if he took penalties? That would be crazy. So I don't care. I don't care if he needs to take penalties to win the Golden Boot. It doesn't bother me if he takes penalties. If he did it without taking penalties, great. But the likelihood of that is extremely low. So just take the penalty. I'm perfectly fine. If you get more, great. Take those two. I get it that Thiago is the primary PK, taker, but like, switch off once in a while. I don't think that's a problem. Help Gigi win the Golden Boot. That would be great. I want to see him win that.
Yeah. And it's like this. I don't think Giakoumakis really cares how he scores it. Is that he scores. And you think Chicharito cares how he scores his goals? I mean, no. He's the poacher of poachers. And, yeah, he gets paid. Yeah, he gets paid big money because he scores goals. Like, the thing is, if it crosses the line or hits the back of the net, that's all he cares about. And
Joseph Martinez scored a bevy of penalties, and no one's taken anything away from him, so I don't care.
Yeah, and let's be honest, like, penalties are not easy to score either. I mean, yes, it's a higher percentage, but it still is. I mean, not every player can score every single penalty that they take, and Joseph Martinez, I mean, it was like at some point like 21 of 23 or something like that, like just ridiculous stuff. That's not easy. Like we probably have been a little bit spoiled in a sense, but it is not an easy thing. But and so the first of the three, but the second one, this goal is just really incredibly good. And just playing out from the back there, Bartosz Schliess able to get it from a center back and then drive into space. He's able to.
I think it's Derek Williams that he gets it from.
Yeah, and basically it is a team goal of the team goals. I mean, just really, really great stuff here. And
yeah, it's if you want to see exactly how Atlanta United wants to hurt you and wants to play their game, that's a prime example. I mean, you get the center backs and the goalie and everyone drawing them all the way into their defensive zone, as almost as far back as they could get it, and they pass it around in dangerous, scary kind of positioning. However, I mean, when we tried to do this against Columbus, they kind of made us pay for it because they're just better at pressing. But New England tried, it didn't work, and we were able to easily kind of play by them. I mean, even Derek Williams made them look silly, especially in this one. It was amazing to see, like, that is the way. That's the way that they're going to try and hurt you. And expect to see more of it. And if just look at it, just look at that. That's beautiful execution of Gonzalo Pineda's tactics there.
Right. And much credit to Gonzalo Pineda here for I think the setup of the team to, I think, be able to play out from the back here effectually in a largely also as well ineffectual Revs press, but you got to play the defense in front of you, and they definitely were able to carve them up, and ultimately it ends up on Brooks Lennon's right foot. The cross is beautiful. It is Giakoumakis' bullet header, second goal of the night for him, third goal overall for Atlanta United. It's 3-0. Looks like we're gonna coast. It's going to be hopefully a clean sheet. Not quite, but still, I mean, yeah, it's in terms of our fourth goal, it's, I mean, what was happening? The ball was bouncing around a little bit. And pretty much where Almada, he took a shot, it got deflected off of a Revs player, and then ended up where Giakoumakis, he was able to take a beautiful touch down, and then on that half volley, just rip a shot into that far post, and man, just probably the best goal of the night. But that's if you ask Giakoumakis.
The perfect hat trick, left foot, right foot, head.
Exactly, but I mean, it is a tough question though. I mean, between the third and the fourth goal, which one was your favorite?
Yeah, it is really tough. I mean, it's what you rather, I guess, like prefer in terms of how you like to watch soccer or play soccer. Is, are you the like, I want to see a smooth build up of play that ends in a crescendo of a great team goal, or are you the, I just want to see like a striker just brute strength crush a goal, like by just solo crush it? Because these are like perfect examples of both of those, and it really comes down to what your preference is to pick one. I mean, if for me, I mean, it's just like, if it's just what I can't really answer it, because like it's like asking, it's like, what's your favorite like movie? It's like, well, are you talking about comedies? Are you talking about dramas? Are you talking about action movies? Like, it's just, it's hard. It's like, I have to talk about within the context of that movie genre. So like in this case, it's like, well, what kind of goal was it? And I talk about it within the goal genre. So like, in terms of a team goal, this is an excellent team goal. So like, I love that. And then this is an excellent solo goal, and I love that. So it's like, it's hard to compare.
Right. I mean, it's basically making you choose between your children here, right? So, which one, Michael? Which one? But anyway, I won't actually make you choose. But yeah, so in terms of the XG in the match as well. I mean, it's far and away. We at 3.32 to their 1.21, they did deserve a goal. It's probably fair. I mean, they had 5 shots on target, not counting the one that hit the woodwork. And so it's on the scale of things, like I said, it probably flatters us a little bit. It probably should have been 3-1, larger part. But hey, we'll take the 4 goals any day. The goal differential as well is sexy.
You gotta hurt bad teams, like teams that don't show up and that they choke. You have to punish them, and that's what we did.
Yeah, you gotta put them to the sword, and that's what it is. I mean, we were able to do that, and that's exactly what you need, especially in a home opener. I think that definitely gets the supporters excited, and I mean, lots of fans went home happy. I didn't really see a Revs fan all night, really. So
neither did I.
Yeah, it's what it is. But also as well, shouts out to you guys for saying hi to us throughout the night. That really made our night, at least for me. And I mean, if you guys see us in the stadium, definitely come say hi. We can't wait to meet you. But yeah, I think there's some unsung heroes as well in this match. I mean, I think Bartosz Slisz had a pretty good match as well. I mean, I think a person that isn't getting his flowers, Brooks Lennon. I mean, a player that's, I think there's some stuff coming up in the future, maybe some content on him. But, I mean, he had a really, really good match here. Arguably, probably a player that's maybe, besides Giakoumakis, he is a player that should probably kind of get more of the plaudits here. And he did make a, we'll get to it. But, I mean, there were 3 key passes from him, which is really, really good. from a right back. He had the assist, of course. Defensively, pretty darn good too. 4 tackles, 1 clearance. Ground duels won 8. Lost his only aerial duel and was dribble passed only once, and only conceded 1 foul. I mean, yeah, pretty good night from Brooks Lennon as well. And I think someone that's improving every single game. And you're seeing it where a lot of people were used to harp on Brooks Lennon a lot, where okay, all he does is get to the byline and cross. It's so predictable, but he's doing a lot of different things now.
Hey, 7 crosses this game, 4 accurately, 4 landed and were effectual. That's a huge conversion rate, like percentage. That's great. I mean, and also a 94% just in average pass accuracy is also massive. I mean, you love to see that in a player like your right back.
Right, exactly. From a defender, from a right back, that's really great stuff. And it's not just stats; it's kind of where he's playing as well. He's it's in vogue to say inverting, kind of a right back anyway. But he's playing a little bit more interior than he has in the past. He's, they were talking about it in the press that, basically he and Wiley, they are essentially switching off when to go, when to stay, but also to, stay pretty compact so that's when that counter does come, there's always 3 men back, and I think that's very, very important. That there's discipline from these fullbacks, and especially a young guy like Caleb Wiley as well. But yeah, so we will be playing Orlando City on Sunday, and we'll have that match preview later on in this episode. But let's get into the news. And Pineda, he spoke to the press, said that the turf felt a bit heavy, but when it's new, but it'll be fine. And it changes every 2 years, of course. And said the team's ability to change pace was vital. Pineda also gave a shout out to video analytics folks that helped him pinpoint some details that they exploited for the 3rd goal, and said he was so upset about the Revs goal and giving up the clean sheet because he wanted the defenders to have that reward. Because large in part, they besides that first maybe 20-30 minutes, that second half was pretty darn good in terms of from a defensive
one-way
standpoint.
traffic.
Yeah, and but also Giakoumakis, he spoke to the press as well. He said we have to improve many things, and regarding the Golden Boot, I don't have to send a message. They know me. I love the bravado. That is Joseph-esque. But
Taylor Twellman, love him or hate him, he was singing his praises on social media about loving the bravado of a striker like that, and that it's like we got the new villain of MLS. Like, that's what you want to hear. That's what you want to hear.
Yes, absolutely. And it's what it is. I mean, like Giakoumakis, he's that type of player that shows he walks the talk, and that's exactly what you want. Like, there's a lot of players that they're a little false bravado here, but no, it's just not the case with Gigi. But he was also asked which goal was his favorite. He said the 3rd goal, which was the his left-footed blast. But it's, of course, I mean, I would.
It's so random. Like, I can't believe he decided to do that.
Yeah, I know.
Non-dominant foot. Like, he just. What was it you were saying in the post game, like the post match thing, where he was like, he's like, give me the ball. I just feel it tonight.
I have a feeling.
Just know.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
He does that? Like,
right.
Again, like it's like I said, it's the Greek god Ares coming in, like channeling through him.
And it's that too. It's like when you're up 3-1 or when you're up 3-0, have a hit. Why not? Go for the go for the hat trick, and it's his first hat trick in MLS, and which is awesome. It's the fourth multi-goal game of his MLS career, and it's he's the fifth player in league history to score 20 career regular season goals in under 2,000 minutes, and the players to reach 20 career regular season goals in under 2,000 minutes in MLS history: Stern John in 1576 minutes, Joseph Martinez, oh, we know that guy, 1642 minutes, Zlatan, 1841 minutes, Mamadou Diallo, 1881 minutes, and then Giorgos Giakoumakis, 1957 minutes. So definitely amazing stuff there. And yeah, I mean, it's as well, that earned him player of the match day honors for that hat trick. And Giakoumakis, he becomes the fifth player in Atlanta United history to become the player of the match day multiple times, joining Thiago Almada, 3, Miguel Almiron, 3, Ezequiel Barco, 2, and Joseph Martinez, 9. So, yeah, definitely, in great company there. Some of our best players.
Player of the match year.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But as well, Giakoumakis, he made the team of the match day for MLS. Almada and Brooks Lennon made the team of the match day bench. So, yeah, really great stuff. And that's gonna happen when you crush a team 4-1. But. And for his troubles, Giakoumakis, he's been called into the Greece roster for the Euro 2024 qualifying playoff match versus Kazakhstan on March 21st. And the winner of that faces off against either Luxembourg or Georgia in the playoff final on March 26th. So, yeah, unfortunately, he might miss the March 23rd match, so that is not fun. But yeah, any thoughts on kind of all the things that were just mentioned for the news?
This is exactly what I was hoping for and expecting, that Giorgos starts taking off. We get the season kind of started the right way with him firing on all cylinders. So Thiago's kind of getting there too. I want to see some more goals from him, like from open play and from some dead ball positions too, because that's what he's known for. It's what people watch him for. We have Thiago range for a reason. So I'm really hoping that that he can get going as well the next game. That would be exciting for him to get going against Orlando. It's also I think, what is it, Toronto that Giorgos might be missing. Yeah. And so I don't know how that, Toronto is kind of a question mark right now. It's like one game they're terrible, another game they're it's kind of like flashes of brilliance because of their high talent that they have on their team. But right. It'll be weird. It'll be weird against Toronto, and then we get to see what a Jamal 90-minute striker looks like, and that'll be fascinating.
Yes, definitely. I mean, he did play in that Tampa Bay Rowdies preseason match, I believe, and he was able to score there. Hopefully he is able to do that if he's healthy and able to play that match, if Giakoumakis is not with the club. But as well, Luis Abram, he is selected for Peru, and that's versus Nicaragua and the Dominican Republic. And so he will be missing as well. And I think it might play a part into maybe why he's not really been selected as the first choice left center back. Maybe it's form, as well as maybe Derek Williams maybe is the better option, but Derek Williams less likely to go for their international club or not international team. And I think you have a factor in that you want some continuity within the players. Possibly this is playing a part into the early selection for our 11, but Michael, you definitely have been kind of pontificating. Okay, is Abram, like, has he lost his spot? Is this, not a good look for him, especially with, on the wage that he's on? Like, what?
Yes and
what
yes.
are your thoughts? Yeah.
Yes and yes. It is not a good look for him. It's, he has seemed to have lost his spot. And it's, like I keep saying, it seems like this team is a team where, you win and lose your spot. It's not just switching, for shits and giggles. So I think if Derek stumbles, Abram will probably step up and make an argument for himself, and we'll see how he does. However, Derek has not yet done that, so there is no reason to do any changing unless you run into fitness issues or international issues and things like that. But obviously, Derek's not going anywhere for that. Hopefully, no injuries either.
Right. Hopefully not. So, unfortunately, somebody that was not selected was Saba Lapsenice for Georgia for their Euro 2024 qualifying playoff matches. He was not selected. So, unfortunately for him, but I guess maybe good for us. So we will not be facing Greece if and when that is happening. But, hopefully that's just maybe, where he wasn't needed per se. He might still be getting looks, but hopefully Saba isn't, affected by that too much. But, moving on from that, Tristan Muyamba and Shanda Silva, yes, chef. They are really, really cooking up something good on their first annual asado, which La Banda getting together. They're cooking at the training grounds some tasty looking barbecue, and all sorts of meats. If you're a meat eater, this looked incredible. And not quite LGP like asador type of thing, but it is still, oh man, where's the invite, guys?
I was just about to say that.
Like, damn, come on, guys. Like, it's 70 degrees like 2 times in Georgia, like, for this week, and you guys already cooking outside and all that. Like, I need to get to a barbecue ASAP. But anyway, any thoughts on what was said above here?
Yeah, I mean, like, that's just awesome. It's just more like every week it seems like there's another, like silly, like bonding type of character development of the players in this team. And and what's great about it too is it doesn't seem forced at all. It seems organic. It seems natural. The players really do seem to like each other, and they think they're funny. It's like a bunch of brothers, like, palling around, like the banter, calling Gigi, like Zane calling Gigi Big Head. Like, I mean, it's just silly. It's funny. It's like little brother, big brother type stuff. You love to see it. And it's gel, it's chemistry, it's bonding, and I'm all for it. And the communications people at Atlanta United front office are doing a good job at trying to showcase it in what seems to be relatively organic ways. It doesn't seem forced, doesn't seem contrived, and that's obviously very good for authenticity. And you can see it on the field too. It translates to that, of course. So like, that's great. It's just great news to see.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Moving on from that, Tom Bogert of The Athletic, he reported that a key MLS roster rule change is in the works and is expected to be implemented this summer. MLS will decouple the DP rule and the U22 initiative rules, and all teams will get 3 U22s no matter what. Opens room for more investment. It's not 100% done, he reports, but it's expected. And so, I guess everybody will have that.
Correct me if I'm wrong. So we have the 3 unlimited DPs, and then does this create, the U22 slots now being essentially DP, they can have DP spend, but they just have to be U22. So like we could essentially get like a U22 player that's like $30 million or something, right? That's essentially what this is?
I mean, yeah, it's basically you can spend whatever you want, I guess.
Right. So it's DP. It's DP U22 slots.
Right, and so it doesn't have to be a DP, but I guess it's,
like, Atlanta United, why wouldn't you, right? Like that's where you can hurt other teams. If other teams don't want to do that spend, you can get a great player at U22, like
Exactly. And so, that level of investment, I think, is what's needed for this league. And so it's pretty exciting. I think if we're reading this right. But, you never know. You never know with MLS rules, though. So, yeah, it is what it is. But, moving on from that, some Atlanta United Fan TV alumni, Jessica Charman, who, you may, if you're a longtime watcher, may have recognized her from some fan cams here. She's now the Charlotte FC the color commentator on radio for them. But she will be commentating the She Believes Cup for the USWNT match for the semifinal on April 6th, along with Jason Longshore. So definitely amazing stuff there. Congrats to her. Super proud. I mean, that's just amazing stuff.
That game is against Japan. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for it. I'm going to it. It's going to be a great, I'm taking my family to it. It's going to be an exciting match to see. First time seeing the women's national team play, and it's about time an American national team plays in Atlanta, Georgia. So of course I'm going to be there.
Of course. And that's the thing too. I mean, it's in our backyard now. There's going to be plenty more probably where that came from. But the first one, that's incredible stuff. So, as well, 100 days, or so, probably 90 or days until Argentina play in the Copa America at the Benz. So that also will be very exciting. There's plenty of very, very important but also fun matchups at the Benz coming. So, if you're not just an LA United fan, there's a lot to get into. But, into the last bit of news, Dax McCarty on his MLS Journeyman podcast with Dan Gargan. We know that guy. Color commentator for the Fox Sports broadcasts when that used to be here, and Alan Gordon. Basically they have a podcast together, and he was talking about his experience at his first home match at the Benz. And amongst the things, he talked about how he really likes the golden spike hitting before the match with some celebrities. That's something that he feels like is very organic and ragged on the New England Revolution kind of Boston Tea Party empty box throwing. He's a person that pays attention for sure around the league. He's a veteran of it, and definitely has his opinions. And it was definitely a great podcast to listen to. So check it out if you haven't. But he also talked about the walk from the bus in the suits for the players pre-match, and how basically his suit, he felt like it was the wrong suit. It was not his, apparently. And he felt like it was the first time he actually wore a suit. And it was like, oh, is this my dad's? This is, something feels very awry here. But definitely some fun anecdotes. And he also talked about how he was gassed after his 70-yard run to lay it off to Almada. Did a little pass and go. He didn't get the ball back, but he understood that the World Cup winner, he doesn't have to pass it back to him. That makes sense. And then also he talked about how he loves Inside the NBA, and if you're a fan of that program Charles Barkley's on it, Shaq, Ernie Johnson, Kenny the Jet Smith. He wants one of them to hit the golden spike because TNT's right in our backyard. And so he even vowed that he would pretty much like stand outside the TNT studios if Atlanta United don't get that going. So yeah, amazing stuff there from Dax McCarty, and looking forward to more anecdotes from his time here because
he's already done so much, stirring the shit with the butter and the coffee. I mean, just like
oh yeah, it's I think from one redhead to another in terms of Larry to Dax McCarty, he's definitely a lot more vocal, probably a lot more technology. Has more technology prowess than Larry for sure. He likely does not read newspapers still, but it's definitely. I mean, next to probably Julian Gressel. I mean, I think there's some really, really interesting anecdotes that I'm really looking forward to coming from them two, who both have some podcasts that they put out. So that's the news, and let's get into the mailbag. You guys sent in these questions from IG Story and Discord. Please continue to do so, and you might get your question answered in the future. But first question comes from our Patreon level member that's in a high tier, Gavin. He asked, are you satisfied with our defensive rebuild so far? Do you think they can keep helping us win games going forward without Miles? And do you think Orlando's shattering against Miami and stoppage time loss to Minnesota impacts them for when they play us even without their full 11? Not asking for match prediction. Lots of questions. Yeah, defensive rebuild.
Yeah, I think yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, there's been like a couple of moments where like Gregerson has looked a little unsure, but that's, I think, just kind of getting his feet under him, familiarizing himself with the team, with being in Atlanta, just that whole thing. I think after a couple of games, he will be even better than he is. And let me make no mistake, I still think he's doing very well. I think Bartosz Slisz is also going to get better. I mean, he was a little rough around the edges in Columbus because it's Columbus, his first game. It's to be expected. He was much better in New England, much better. I think there's some posts going around of like heat maps from him and his stats and stuff, and they were really good. Defensively speaking, he really locked down the midfield for us in the defensive section. So that was refreshing to see. And I just, again, like I talked about earlier, Derek Williams, like, guy's doing great. No reason why Abraham should take his spot from him. It's just pretty incredible. You don't think a guy like this is gonna come in and take a spot from a guy you pay like way more. So it is what it is. That's great. I'm glad that we're having people produce who maybe weren't everyone's first choice, which, I mean, that's just, I don't know what that comes down to, if it's just the team, the scouting, what have you. Whatever it is, things are working, things are cooking. So the defense, much better. I expect significantly less goals conceded this season, and hopefully we continue that with Orlando.
Yeah, and I think to answer that first part is as well. I mean, the midfield with Slisz, he is somebody that's is going to protect that and shield that defense a little bit more than the previous players that were there. And I think that's that plays a part into us looking better, as well as Stian Gregerson. I think he and Miles have some pretty similar, qualities that will kind of make sure that it's not terribly different, but it is. I still think, Gregerson has the European experience, pedigree that kind of sets it apart a little bit even more. So that, I mean, I think we have the ability to be even better than last year. Not that we were actually good last year defensively, because we were one of the worst.
We were terrible.
Yeah, but I think it was a down year from Miles Robinson, as well as kind of the left center back situation was a little bit more up in the air. But in terms of Orlando, the shattering, and that's, we'll get into that in the match preview. So, but next question comes from Atlanta United VIPs. Different questions. Who started Atlanta United Fan TV originally? Where did you guys meet? What was your favorite fan interaction at a game? Did you do anything like this prior to Atlanta United? So,
I was saying one at a time. You go first.
yeah. So, in terms of who started Atlanta United Fan TV originally, that is myself. And basically, in the January of 2017, pretty much right before the team pretty much played their first match, I was thinking, there's a need for a platform for fans to really be able to voice their opinion and kind of speak their mind. And I think it's something that's we've been able to allow people to do here, as kind of wherever you are, in terms of if you're a novice to an expert, you can come on, voice your opinion, and be heard, and without kind of this massive judgment, or we've had basically as young as, I think, 4-year-olds on fan cams to definitely people that are older than 60, and it's been incredible to meet all of you.
As far away as Greece coming on to, like, it's crazy. It's awesome.
Right. And so in terms of that, I think it plays a part into, did you do anything like this prior to Atlanta United? From a social media standpoint, no. But I do come from the film industry, and kind of the, I guess, technical production prowess. That's really where I think it's melded some passions of mine, where my love for football / soccer and film, and also just kind of creative juices. This has been a thing where it's been able to meld together a lot of different things. That's, it's been a long road. It's been difficult. Shouts out to my late girlfriend Corey, who absolutely is a massive part in kind of not only the support, but also filming every one of the fan cams, and it's just something that she was just incredible in making me feel like this is something that's is not that crazy of an idea, and forever for that I am grateful for her. And definitely Atlanta United Fan TV is not where it is without her, albeit though we there's a lot of passion into this. There's a lot of self-funding that has gone into this, and so absolutely, if you are checking us out for the first time, or just a stalwart on this channel, we couldn't do this without you. Definitely, if you can find just the $5 for, or $7 or whatever for just a cup of coffee, that really helps sustain us. And we would be forever grateful, because it's something that we would love to be doing this full time, and creating more content. And I think this is where I think a lot of our passion lies, and we'd love to expand the type of content that we do. But in terms of where we met, I think, Michael, you can talk to that.
I've talked to AJ online before I met him in person, because I was a watcher of the channel for a number of years before I started working in the background with him, and then eventually started coming onto the show. But we met in person the first time was, I forget which game it was, but it was at one game where, I just like, we were like, I'm like, hey, I'm going to be at the game. He's like, yeah, I am too, obviously. And then we just met up and then we watched the game together, and it was love at first sight. So that's how that happened.
Love it. Yeah, no, I mean, and basically Michael, he's made our Discord community, I say the best community in Atlanta United fandom. I think it's something that is just very, it's just very, how do I say this?
You got to experience it for yourself.
Exactly. And it's just something that, the toxicity is not there like other communities. It's definitely something that he has been able to foster and help us grow. And definitely join us in the Discord. It's in the description below. From wide range of topics and really in depth at times, really funny banter. I mean, it's just something that's, I was able to start the Discord, but he really has made it into what it is, and it's the best community. I mean, it just truly is. But, so in terms of favorite fan interaction at a game, do you have something?
There's two, I can answer this too. Well, I'll answer it. So, perhaps my favorite one was getting to meet like our patrons and our people who collaborate with us regularly, all at the same game, all at the same time. We had like a bit of a meetup, and that was excellent. A lot of fans came over as well to say hi. That was the first time for me I was kind of like recognized at a game, whereas I was just before a faceless viewer of the game. And it, like, that feeling is immense. Like when AJ says, please, say hi to us when you see us, like he means that, because it really resonates. It really makes you feel good. It makes you feel like you are making an impact. You're helping people, you're, commiserating with them. You're finding solace with them in like difficult times, and you're being with them and in celebrating in joyous times. When it comes to this team, and sometimes outside of the team, in personal matters and stuff like that. So like it's really, really a great thing. And that was definitely that was special to me, and I'm sure it was to AJ. Seeing things in a brand new light at that point, it's remarkable and something I'll never forget.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna cop out here and say pretty much every fan interaction that I have, it's pretty much it's been incredible. I mean, it's just from the very beginning, and I mean, from the 2018 MLS Cup win as well to where we're partying in the streets, and it's or even just people that just honk their really loud train horn at us, which used to happen all the time, and while we were doing fan camps, it's but they, I think, lovingly did it. But I think one of my most memorable things that has happened from like with a fan actually happened outside of a game, where I was walking on the street where, like, near where I used to live, there was a, like, I think bike-a-thon of some sort. So I think maybe the Atlanta bike something, but I had a hat on and sunglasses, just as like incognito as it gets, and somebody recognized me, and I was like, what? How? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And so they were just basically like, AJ? And I'm like, yeah, like, how did you recognize it? Like, it didn't make any sense to me.
I mean, just wearing glasses like Clark Kent doesn't work, right?
I mean, it works in the comic books, man. Like, Why doesn't it work in real life? But yeah, I mean, I guess I just didn't. I think maybe I used to wear hats a little bit more often. Maybe some sunglasses. So maybe okay, maybe they were able to recognize from that. But I don't know. Either way, it was awesome, and that was incredible. But either way, we'll finish this question. Yes, definitely. If you see us, come say hi. But next question comes from IG Story, and in terms of the question, Linus for Christ __, is this team more talented than the 2018 team?
That's tough to say. I mean, the obvious answer that most people probably jump to is no, because of results. But I mean, like, I'm tempted to think about it like, okay, well, if like Giorgos was dominating in Ever Dies and on Celtic, and Thiago will probably dominate on a top team in Europe eventually. And then you compare that to 2018 when you have Miggy and Joseph. Joseph did not dominate at Torino before Atlanta, and Almiron does do very well in Newcastle. So like you have like kind of like an even wash there a bit. I would that like if that comparison's helpful, I don't even know if it is. It's hard to say, but I mean, but perhaps like if you look at the rank and file of the team, 2018 is probably more stacked in terms of experience and just ability level. So that I'll probably just side with 2018 because they have results behind them to bolster the argument for them. It's remains to be seen what this team that we currently have can do, and what their potential is, and it'll be really interesting to see if they can try and rival that. People, I know analysts were saying that, just based on what they can see on paper, we look at like minimum as good as the 2019 team, which that was a solid team. That's an Eastern Conference final team. That's a one game away, one goal away almost from, MLS Cup, and likely winning it too. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no. I mean, so basically, that 2018 team obviously was special. You have Golden Boot winning Jose Martinez, setting records. You have Miguel Almiron, who goes for a record transfer fee. The rest of the squad as well, it's just super deep. You have Franco Escobar, Julian Gressel. You almost have, I would say it's like 1.5 players for every position. Like we were just really deep. Ezequiel Barco came from the bench. Tito Fischalba also came off the bench. Like we were
Darlington
super
Nagby.
deep. Yeah, exactly. It's but we do have a pretty talented team on the pitch. This is, I think, the caveat here too, though. Gonzalo Pineda, Tata Martino. We're talking about talent too. Like, it's Tata Martino. Let's just be real.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't take anything away from this squad. We have a lot to show, and I think there's a lot of promise. I think people are right that it's probably as talented of a team since 2019, but it's got a ways to go. So, but last question comes from Footy Guy 10. Do you think MLS are trying to get Miami to win the league?
The conspiracy questions. Yes. Probably not. I'm sure that they would love it. I'm sure that they will do what they can within legal and reasonable, means, but I don't think they will break rules or wantonly step out of line in any kind of obvious way. Perhaps you could hint at like shady behind the door, back alley stuff, but unless I see like smoking gun evidence that there's some like really bad stuff going on, like the worst that I can see, and this is kind of some banter we had on the Discord a little while ago, was that like it's frustrating when you have a salary cap in your league, yet a team can attract like 5 world beaters onto their team, and get them to play for them for peanuts compared to what they used to make, just so they can be on the same team and then just, crush whoever they go up against if all of them are playing at the same time. Obviously, in this case, they're all old. So, like, my argument, I was kind of going off in the chat. It was like, my argument was like, well, what stops New York's, let's say New York City FC all of a sudden gets the entirety of the current Man City team to just come and play for them, and they decide to all play for 1/1000th of what they were currently making in Man City. And who knows why they decided to do this. Let's just say they decided to do it. There's nothing stopping them from signing all of those players and playing all those players and just wiping the whole league effortlessly. It's like, it's just obnoxious that Miami, to a lesser degree, can kind of do that. And unfortunately, that's not breaking the rules. They just can attract the players to agree to do that. Now, you can say maybe they're doing like back alley deals with them, and to have like a bunch of world beaters on your team playing for peanuts compared to what they used to have. And like, basically you have Don Garber going like, well, sucks to suck because you're not a city that can just attract all these people to come play for you for nothing. That's just your lot in life. And it's like, that can be frustrating. So, I don't think, bottom line, I don't think there's any like illegal or conspiratorial or anything crazy going on like that when it comes to Miami. It's just frustrating. It's just frustrating. Messi and friends decide to all go to one team and tip the balance in their favor when they're all healthy. Who knows how healthy they'll be for the entire season, but like, when they're healthy, they've clearly shown they can beat anyone in this league. So, I mean, that just sucks. Just sucks for teams going up against them.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're exactly right. I mean, it's just in terms of you're talking about like back alley. I mean, it's like, yeah, maybe it's not back alley, but there are some maybe brand deals that you can work with those players. That, okay, yeah, maybe you're not making the top dollar, but you'll have a lot of fun here while making some really good Apple money maybe as well. And so, if you promote it, there it is. There's your paycheck. And so it's and then some. But in terms of trying to get them to win the league, I mean, it definitely feels that way a little bit at times. But as much as they're pushing it, I mean, if you follow MLS, basically they're pushing in your DMs every time Messi scores. So it's just like, we're hyper aware that the onus is on Messi, but in large part, it doesn't seem like rules have been broken as of yet. But you never know. It's Miami; they have precedents on this where
That's true.
Just broken rules. And Paul McDonough, look at him.
Yeah.
So I mean,
hey,
still.
I'm a little suspicious that I thought I was kind of onto something there, and all of a sudden the internet started cutting up. So I'm just gonna put that.
Oh dear. Sleep with one eye open tonight, Michael. And guys, that gets us to our next segment where we interview Kyle Hamm, the communications liaison for the Gulch, the supporters group collective. So guys, welcome Kyle Hamm from the Gulch. I mean, it's a pleasure, man, and definitely we are very, very excited to see what this whole supporters group umbrella group can do for the supporters groups, because we know it's been a little bit tumultuous / a bit of a journey, but it is amazing that this idea has come to fruition finally. And yeah, welcome to the show.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for having me.
Absolutely, anytime, man. But let's get right into the nitty gritty of what the Gulch is. What is it? How did it start? Give us the tea.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's the official supporters collective of Atlanta United. So in the past, if you're Atlanta United's front office, you're dealing with all 6 supporter groups and Resurgence and Footy Mob, Faction, All Stripes, La Dose, and whatever the 6th one is that I just didn't mention. But now we have the Gulch, who is over all 6 of them. and Terminus Legion. That's not
There you
something.
go.
I got the sixth one now. Umbrella Group over all of them, and we work directly with the front office and all things budgeting. The tailgate spot was a big one. Just finally got that secured for the season, back at the same place we were at last week. And so it gives an official nonprofit organization the power to negotiate with Atlanta United on behalf of all the supporters. It also includes the pit, so all of the capos and musicians within the supporter section, everything that we're doing, it all goes through the Gulch, as far as instruments, as far as coordination and communication. So myself, I wear two hats as a lead capo and also head of communications with the Gulch, and so that was something that I always had been stressing for the past few years, is there's a lack of communication between, if we're rolling out a Tifo, you got all these different supporter groups trying to work on it together, or mine versus that idea. And now it's finally come together. We have one group that just supports Atlanta United, and all of us fall under that. It's no longer, hey, I'm in Footy Mob, hey, I'm in Resurgence, hey, I'm in Terminus. It's all of us going at it together as Atlanta United supporters, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I just to like triggered something as I was looking at Instagram earlier today, and I saw one of your posts, and it literally had one of the chants that we do, which is the Giakoumakis one you had put up, and I'm like, finally, there's cohesive talking points about where the chants are, what the chants are, and what we're expecting to, when you go to a game, what to hear and things like that. Whereas before, it was like I would have to like go into the bowels of Reddit to find some things. I'd have to talk to people who knew people on Discord and things like that. It's like, well, now there's kind of a one and all source, and you don't have to, I don't know, maybe if you're lucky, look up at the the circle board and then see the lyrics to something, or find a pamphlet that's on your chair or something like that. So it's just much easier, and having a like a song that everyone knows, not just the supporters group, it's the whole stadium. I think that will go a long way.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely the goal and the inspiration. Especially myself, for the past few years being a capo, a lot of people, a criticism that we get is, hey, it's only what the capos want, or it's only these select chants. I have no way to promote a chant. So the goal is to, open that up and let that be a productive discourse, but also to let people know that not only is it open to you, but we listen. I mean, the amount of games that I've spent, especially, on a drive home or something, riding with friends, just scrolling through. I'm on Reddit. I'm on everything, reading through and seeing. We take everything with a grain of salt for sure, but whatever you're feeling or expressing, whether it's in 101 with us in the supporter section or across the stadium in 122 or something like that, we read all of it. And so, having a place where we can both spread information and also get it back and just communicate for the first time as a fan base is really nice.
Yeah, I love that, because over at Atlanta United Fan TV, we're all about the democratization of opinions and all this kind of stuff. So being able to be open to not just supporters, members, and the community as a whole, and being able to get their views, and you can feel part of something bigger, I think that's a really great thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, so in terms of, kind of getting into maybe like a mission statement from you guys, because, definitely, there's other clubs that have kind of these umbrella groups, and, some are good, some are, maybe left to be desired a little bit, but, definitely be able to negotiate with the club is massive, especially with kind of, other countries and their leagues and their clubs, say like Germany, which with a name like Hamm, I imagine maybe there might be a Bundesliga club that you might follow or something like that. But yeah, and so you're probably aware that there's a bunch of clubs that are majority fan owned, where it's 50 plus 1%, right? So at least being able to maybe replicate a little bit of the say that they have. Obviously, it's a franchise system in MLS, but kind of talk us through your mission statement with the Gulch.
Yeah, so definitely. As far as the non-Instagram side goes, you pretty well captured it perfectly. I mean, it is to have that voice with the front office, and luckily, our liaisons on both ends, from the Gulch and the front office, are really productive and a lot of talks. If you notice this past week, there was a particular incident involving flares, and that's been an ongoing thing. But rather than that individual struggling alone, who that issue resolved around, there was a whole team, and there was a common discourse and partnership between the front office and the supporters, and the issue was resolved, and we're moving forward with it. So just kind of having that outside of the Instagram is great for all purposes, whether it's issues like that or whether it's budgeting again or just any cool idea that we have as supporters. Because there's plenty of clubs, let's face it, in America that their organizations are corporate organizations who are tone deaf to the fans. Absolutely. So if you have a group of supporters who can come in and have influence and make a change and impact the club, pull roots from, whether it's German heritage or with La Doce and Hispanic, South American culture, to include that in Atlanta, which in itself is a mixing pot, is a great thing. And then on the Instagram side of things, we're able to do a lot as well. It goes back to the message of communication, but also all the supporter groups combined have a voice, because everything that they're doing we post on the Gulch, and every supporter has a voice because there's a comment section. I've already been getting DMs on, hey, can we improve it this way, can we change this, can we make this tweak on game day? And so I think there's just a lot more power within the supporters that lies in the Gulch and in the Gulch Instagram project than you see in a lot of other clubs. And the fact that Atlanta United has already partnered with us, we've been tagged in a couple posts, and we're having that common discourse and communication and partnership is something that is extremely valuable, and you don't see in a lot of other places.
Do you have any organizations or, even like a collective supporters group around the world that you've taken as an inspiration for constructing what you've built?
So that's a very good question. Try not to mention them specifically, because we want to be the best. In the end, that's one of the main goals. Of course, we want the community to grow, but myself, you kind of hinted at it earlier with German roots. Dortmund may or may not be one of my clubs in Bundesliga, and also with Brazil, Grêmio, and my friend is actually the club president's daughter over there. So between those two, that's kind of my own potential inspiration, not to leak everything, but I do pull a lot from around the world, and I think so does everybody. If you look at La Doce, there's a lot of passion in there for the teams that they're fans of, especially in Argentina. And so you take all of that fashion, all of that culture, and you combine it into Atlanta, and it's like, hey, we can actually build something because we have an actual culture, and the front office is willing to work and listen to that, and in ways that they are and ways that they're not. Now we have an old Instagram where we can have a voice too. So all in all, I think it's just really beneficial.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah, you told me how old you were before the show. I won't out your age, but I am impressed how well spoken you are at your age, and yeah, really incredible stuff, man. But yeah, and speaking about the stuff like inspiration, even just like the chants, which you got into a little bit earlier, but with the Giakoumakis chant that is new, there's some I think near and dear to my heart that I hear, because it's Eddie Nketiah of Arsenal, that your defense is terrified. A little bit of inspiration there too, possibly, and so definitely stoked on that. But in terms of these chants and all that, obviously a lot of people have suggestions from all over the web, but yeah, in terms of how you guys get inspired and try to galvanize everybody, what's that process like?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is, if you watch MLS games across Apple TV, you'll kind of hear the same things over and over again. Mm-hmm. And so we actually, in a sense, try to avoid that. Of course, there are chants that we have that are repeated, but the originality of chants, or at least taking some that are more well known and making them Atlanta specific, to where it's not just like Nashville or an Orlando chant where you just take out the city name and put in Atlanta and try to change up the lyrics. There's a big part of that. So example A, a chant that will be out on Instagram next week, from a future song known as Mask Off, is the Represent chant. So it's just represent, A-Town represent, and then red and black, A-Town red and black, 4 times each. And that has roots in South Africa. There's actually a high school there. They use it for a lot of their games, and there's videos all over the web of their student section absolutely just going crazy to it. And that has roots all the way back to Future, who's an Atlanta artist. We use the saying Atlanta influences everything, or Atlanta, Georgia changed my life. You have an artist who influences lives in a different continent, and then we bring that back and make it a chant right back here in our city. So I think it's like everywhere around the world has an influence that comes together in Atlanta, and then Atlanta influences the world, and we really believe in that. I mean, if you look at our attendance figures from last week, you'll kind of see that same thing. People are showing up, people are happy with the team and rallying around the club. And so I think when you have an environment like that, it allows you to have that voice where everyone who's come together, maybe you've moved to the city, maybe you're from the city, but Atlanta has a distinct culture, and I think it's a culture for all, and we're able to amplify that through our chants, rather than the stereotypical, let me Google what an MLS chant should look like, copy and paste that. So right now we actually have about 35 chants, and you don't even hear them all in every game. We try to have a couple that we do similar parts of different matches, and I actually have a tradition myself with our We Sing chant, where it's We Sing for Atlanta, and then if you're not jumping, let's go, where I've started passing out water bottles within the section. I take the cap off of one, look pretty evilly at everybody within like a 50-foot radius of me, and then it's all breaks loose in like the 60th or 70th minute. And it's just those authentic things that represent a culture of, hey, this is a party, this is a fiesta that we're having on game day, but this is not just some American tailgate where I copied and pasted what every other city is doing. This is a worldwide, you ended up in Atlanta, you're a part of this culture, let's represent that.
What's your favorite chant and part of the game to do it at?
Ooh, that's a good question. So there's a couple chants where I've been able to create hand motions and movements. So I do like that. I would say that We Sing tradition is probably my favorite thing that I do, but chants like Dale Cabese, for example, where the whole section is moving back and forth in unison, things that show that we are united, or when everyone's doing the same hand motions, we are the A when it's clapping, or even just A, T, L, and the whole stadium's on their feet doing that. Those are probably my favorite, because you just look around and you see, for full stadium games, 75,000 people united in a chant. There are chants that I even don't like, and some grow on you and some don't. That thus is everyone in the Atlanta United supporter section, and supporters team. I'm sure y'all don't like some of the chants we do. I don't like some of the chants we do that I lead, but different people have different ideas and different perspectives, and so I feel like that's what you have to respect. Half the chants that we see on Reddit, let me just go ahead and address this, we'll bring up in a workshop, or we'll discuss internally and say, okay, is this feasible? Will this catch on? Do enough of us like the idea to want to do it? And, it's not just me standing up there with a megaphone. There's a whole band that has to learn chants, and a lot of new members this year. We struggled definitely in the opener on some chants, and so there's a lot more that goes into it than most might think, but we really do try to listen and be open to new experiences with the chance.
Yeah, I've seen you in the Reddit. I've seen you posting things. I think it's you or someone of your ilk asking for recommendations and ideas and things to bounce off of. So you're still in the trenches.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, there for every platform online, there's all different kinds of fans, man. We're aware of that, and you can kind of contextualize based on what people are saying, where in the stadium they may sit, because the acoustics of the gigantic Death Star that we play soccer in aren't the best, and so you can kind of tell, where people are, and that helps you kind of take it with an additional grain of salt and say, okay, I can kind of see where you're coming from, being that you're close to us or you're far away, and how we change that. And we talk about that with the front office, and we've tried different things, different mics and echoes in the stadium, and all kinds of things with the sound production. We work a lot, especially with the Instagram project, with the content team. So there's so much more work than I feel like people know gets put into it. And to say that we're 100% at the solution is far from correct. We're probably around, 80, 70% of the way there, but there's so much more that we can improve on. So that's all what this page is about, is continuing to grow the community, grow the supporter section, and continue to improve, especially on the chance.
All right, I have one more question for me, and then I'll let AJ get some in. So you were just talking about how you're perhaps working on some new things. Is there anything for this season that fans might be able to get to see for the first time if they go to a game or watch a game from home that's coming down the pike soon that you can talk about and give away?
So I will say a big thing for the year, and it's already been kind of promoted, so I can speak on it, is Tifos that didn't come from a single supporter group. So this year there's a form already, link in bio, to submit chant ideas, Tifo ideas, and we can work on those we work on them collectively now. So that's one thing, would be that whole production. The next thing, again, new chants are in the work. GG's on fire. First time we'd ever done that New England game. Just got posted today to spread awareness on that. And then I really think the biggest new thing is the Instagram itself. If you're following ATL Gulch, you're seeing the reels of what the tailgate scene looks like. Maybe you've never been to it before, and this is your time to come check it out, see what it's all about. If you saw anything from the chant circle or the tailgate or the march, you saw smoke, you saw flares, you saw passion, and we're under the impression that the city is actually really rallying around the team this season, especially with how many showed up on Saturday and how many we expect to show Sunday for rivalry game against Orlando. So outside of Tifos and chants, I think the biggest thing is just the community is growing, and it really is. And the fact that we've been able to sustain that and then elevate it 8 seasons into existence, and we haven't plateaued or fallen off at all, that's a big thing. Another thing that's in the works, hopefully I don't get fired for saying this too much, but a big thing in our scene is pyro, and so there's an idea or two out there with that, because lighting things on fire is cool. Not that that's the route we're going to take. In fact, it won't be, but there's some big ideas on what that would look like in a much more legal, ran through the front office and our insurance way, that may or may not be on the way. So new Tifos, new chants, Instagram project, and maybe we'll shoot something cool into the sky.
Oh, you heard it here first, the Laney Night Fan TV exclusive. So there you go. Thank you for that.
Love it. Yeah, and on that, I mean, the Tifos, because they used to be where you kind of alluded to it, where each supporters group would maybe kind of man one Tifo for a specific game, and then have the idea for it, and then people would execute. Now it being a little bit more kind of egalitarian in a sense. kind of walk us through the for the viewers that are unaware of the Tifo process, and how far ahead you guys have to kind of get these going, because some people are just like, oh yeah, we're playing such and such in 3 days, we should have this type of Tifo for it, and it's just implausible for it to happen like that, right?
Yeah, I'm smiling way too much internally at you asking that question, because a perfect example of that is the Philadelphia Union match last year, right after the license plate and ID comment, where everything spammed on Reddit or Facebook or to my DMs and texts is why didn't we have a Tifo for that? When the week after was the Orlando game, and we're getting the Defend Our Roots Tifo ready, which quite literally took up our entire space. We do have a really nice space to make Tifos, but we'd never done one of that size before, and so that's planned, and takes weeks of volunteer effort to execute, which is why we want to pull in all the supporters to show them how much it actually takes to build a Tifo, and why we invited everyone out to the warehouse for the first time last year. It is not an easy process. It's really cool to see your work done for a minute, before the game when it's hosted, or hoisted up into the air. But so that's an absolutely perfect example of, we already had our entire space taken for the game the week after Philadelphia Union, when I made that comment about, check the license plates, check their IDs, are they actually from Atlanta? When in reality, like, we embrace people who are born and raised in Atlanta, but Atlanta is such a mixing pot culturally. Like, we embrace you for being here and for supporting the team, and the team gives people something to rally around. Which got a little off track and cultural and political.
Jim Curran can sit down too after what happened to him last night. So
yeah, exactly. And on that, I mean, we could still probably do a Tifo on that when we play them later this year, if he's still the coach. So, yep,
Maybe so.
Exactly. We'll hush on that.
Great question. Yeah, pretty interesting.
Right.
I don't know.
And so on that too, it's like not only the hours, but also you guys aren't subsidized for the space, right? As well, it's completely fan funded for any of the Tifos.
So we do, I mean, as the Gulch, we do get a budget from Atlanta United after tailgate considerations, but a lot of stuff, even for the Instagram, is out of pocket, out of passion, which is a phrase I'll tell you I say, but actually I just made up and it sounds pretty good. Out of pocket,
we know that. We know that for sure here. Yeah.
Share with mics and cameras, and I mean, if you look at Michael's room, and that all that stuff in the background probably costs a lot. I'm a bit of a minimalist myself, but yeah, no, definitely. So time, effort, money.
This is most of my life savings I've invested in, as this is what I'll retire on.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it takes a lot, but the more people that we bring in, the more help there is. And so now, rather than worrying about, hey, this group's going to take this game and this group's going to take this game, and we have a bunch of maybe rushed, or there weren't enough people to help on Tifos, opening it up and focusing on bigger games, potentially Philadelphia. I don't know. That's a great question. We'll have to see what happens, because if I'm not mistaken, that game might be coming up. But yeah, so it is a process, and it's cool for us to say, hey, come out, come be a part of it, and then welcome to it. It's time to make this Tifo. Now you see what goes on. And so it's something that we're excited to have more supporters out to do that.
Love it. So yeah, let's. I mean, I'd love to talk to you more about this all night long, but we do have to kind of wrap it up a little bit. We'll have you on in the future for sure. But yeah, in the meantime, where can people get involved? How can people follow? Let us all know the good stuff there.
Yeah, definitely. So if you're not following ATL_Gulch on Instagram already, you're missing out on a lot of great content, a lot of great info. And every game day, we have an entire timeline posted for you, where to tailgate, when to show up, and when the march is going down, when the tailgate starts, all of the above. But you can find us all season, 55 or 550 Mitchell Street Southwest in Atlanta. It actually has like 5 different addresses, but it's the same tailgate space as last year. Can't miss it if you're down there. Find us where the smoke and flares are.
Love it, man. Well, yeah, Kyle, let's have you stick around for the OFYO match preview here.
Absolutely. Say it louder for the people in the back.
Exactly right. Well, let's get into it. So yeah, Atlanta United versus Orlando City, or the Kitties, Kitty City, whatever you want to call it, Disney,
Yeah.
Disney
Kitties,
FC, whatever it is. But it's at the Benz, 7:30 on Sunday. That's probably the only thing that's maybe the detractor, is that it's pretty late on a Sunday. So some people that have families, a little tough on them. But either way, we're stoked for it because it's the first match of the season for OFYO. But yeah, the record lately against Orlando, it's actually not the worst, but I feel like it could be better. It's 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses in the last 6, and Orlando City. We've had a little bit of their number, a little bit more so at home, but yeah, and also sometimes a little bit where their home doesn't really feel like a home in Orlando, so that's also been really nice. But yeah, we definitely should improve our record against them. It's always, when it's a derby, it's gonna be a tough game. Form goes out the window, but Atlanta United, we've largely in the history have had their number, and it's fantastic. But Orlando City, penned by a lot of people and pundits to probably finish really high this season, as high as first by some pundits. And yeah, I see you shaking your head inexplicably. Yeah, it is. I mean, I get it from one end, but it also is like, come on, it's Orlando. Let's be real. But they're bottlers. But yeah, as low as 6th. So there's a lot of people that think that they are gonna finish pretty high, and yeah, I mean, Oscar Pereira, their head coach, has been at the helm for a minute now. He's really gotten them into their best form ever. They've won a U.S. Open Cup, so yes, okay, yeah, they have a trophy finally within their cabinet, but it's still pretty empty compared to ours. But it is. I mean, Orlando City, they're that type of team that's they're gonna play us tough. I mean, they like to play with possession. They're a team that's I think with good reason in some degrees they're rated, but at home, at the Benz, we absolutely need to make it a fortress. We did last match, 4-1 against the New England Revolution, rather. And I mean, it's something that I think we can carry on. But yeah, what do you guys think in terms of kind of large in part how the match might go, without any predictions of scoreline or lineups? But how is this match going to go, Kyle?
Yeah.
Yeah, 4-0.
Oh no! Without the okay, well, without the prediction of the scoreline, we jumped the gun a little bit. But
no prediction. So as a actually predicting now,
yep.
I just have a special. There's a special. It's not in my heart. I don't know where it is, but it's not. It's something that doesn't like Orlando. In fact, I'm feeling a little heated just hearing the name. But All I know is last week from the Capistan, every time I turn around, I see Shande and Saba tearing down the flanks, and I think you'll see a lot of that this week. And I think their defense is something that's a little bit more vulnerable. You look at that in the Miami game. You look at how Minnesota came back against them last week. I think they're vulnerable, definitely, to our attack. Gigi, especially being in his prime, I expect to see their defense terrified.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah. Going along with the chant as well. Michael.
Yeah, it's weird. It's just weird the way they've started the season. Like you said, they're expected to be. Some people have them as MLS Cup favorites, or Supporter Shield winners this year, and they started out the gate with 3 losses. They got absolutely shellacked in CONCACAF Champions Cup. I mean, for whatever reason, a stalwart of theirs, someone who's supposed to be Mr. Reliable in Pedro Galese, has had 3 horrible games, which is just unprecedented for him. So, I'm really hoping he doesn't stand on his head against us like he always seems to do. If he doesn't have the game of his life like he always tends to do, and we get one bye on him early or something like that, and we keep him shook as he seemed to have been in the last 3 games, I think we can really put an arrow right through this team, and just keep the goals rolling and flowing, just like what happened with New England. Because I think, like most teams, if you can get that goal first, you can get them drawn out, Atlanta can punish you badly. So I fully expect to see that as the game plan. You kind of hinted at it, Kyle, with our wing play. I think what's really cool is the concept of having our, the ball go up from our defensive mids to Thiago Almada, then out to the left, and then cross over to the right to a streaking down Saba, and then have him or Lennon or someone cross it over to Gigi. Throws teams out of whack, and done correctly can really devastate a disciplined defense. Problem is, executing that is tough. Luckily, we have Thiago Almada in there, and Schließ now. If there is turnovers, which oftentimes it's that transition in the middle there, the left wing or left fullback to the left mid or center mid, that transition can be dicey, and we've seen that a couple of times where we've had turnovers and some dangerous transition moments from New England. And so if we can keep that tight, which we were able to pretty much do, except for maybe once or twice against New England, and they just choked on their chances, then I think we can do pretty much the same thing we did to New England. And if we do, that's a statement win, because people are going to really notice, wow, Atlanta beat perhaps Shield favorites Orlando, and that's impressive.
Yeah. I love it, man. Yeah, because it's basically that. The first half, obviously, earlier in the episode, we talked about how it was pretty difficult in the early beginnings, but we grew into the match, and we were able to kind of put a big scoreline on the Revs, where largely, it's not always. You see this scoreline, and it's like, oh yeah, they just completely shellacked them all match. It wasn't exactly the case, and I think we need to put together a full 90 in this match to really make that statement, because this is that derby. This is that type of game that you can't switch off for one goal. One goal becomes maybe another, and in this, I mean, to maybe diagnose maybe what's happening. There is some turnover a little bit in kind of where the stalwarts for Atlanta City have come from. I mean, you have guys that have come in, and Nico Lodero, of course, big MLS veteran, but Junior Urso out, of this team. Mauricio Pereira, I mean, Antonio Carlos. These are guys that kind of got them to where they are currently. And I think, they're reeling with the lack of depth that they have, because they're playing in the CCC, and it's something different for them. Obviously, they're not fully that team that can, I think, cope with the fatigue that comes with that, which we know very well, unfortunately. And, Frank de Boer had to really deal with early on. And kind of, it showed in our form when de Boer was, first starting. And so it is something that's, maybe we can take advantage of here. And hopefully we do. But let's get into some predictions here. And, let's first start with the lineup. Well, in terms of unavailable players, it seems like, at least early on so far, this is a Wednesday, so hopefully no injuries this week before the actual match. But, we should have a full, roster to choose from. I think it's probably going to be a pretty easy 11 to predict here, but let's go through the six, go through the lines, but actually from the front, since it's a little bit actually easier from the front this time. So, striker, he's healthy, he's gonna start. Giakoumakis, of course. In the wings, do you guys see any changes? Is it gonna be Silva, Saba?
Same.
Yeah, this lineup probably pretty much chooses itself. I'll just go through the rest of it probably. But Almada, in the hole there. Schlich, Muyamba, very likely as the central midfielders. The fullbacks, Wiley, Lennon. The center backs, okay, maybe maybe is a shout. Who? Maybe it's Abram, but it's highly unlikely, right, guys? I mean, it's probably Williams and Gregerson for you guys.
Yeah. Williams has done great. He played out the back well against New England, where he struggled against Columbus, which is to be expected. Columbus has a hell of a lot better press than New England does. I don't know even if New England has a press, it seems like they don't really do that very much. So. We were able to breathe pretty well, and Derek helped us through, Williams helped us through that pretty easily. I just don't see really a need to change any of the starting 11 from last game. I don't see, no one has lost their position. Like we talked about last episode, this is a team where you have to lose your position. I don't know if it's like they're just gonna switch for the fun of it. I think it's, you pretty much have to lose it in training or performance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and good.
Yeah, I was just gonna pretty much agree with that. A lot of people when we brought in Williams weren't sure. Okay, you got Gregerson, but is it going to be Williams or Abram? I would agree with Michael. Williams has done just a terrific job, and we had a bye, and then we had a home game. We've got another home game. I think when we get more into the deeper part of the schedule, when we've got some more Wednesdays and stuff, you'll see Abram rotated in, but he's also, if I'm not wrong, got an international call-up coming up soon, and so there's really no reason to make him play these minutes when Williams is doing a great job. I think you may see Abram come in later if we're up and you take a defensive shape. I would love to see a guy like Dax come in and be a general around the 65th, 70th minute and see out the game from there. But I would agree, it's the same starting 11. It's done well for the team, and then Pineda can use Dax and Abram, especially on Dax's experience with Orlando, to sort of hold it down when the game gets a little bit more transitional towards the end.
And building consistency in lineups, something that we've struggled with, is hopefully something we can really nail in the beginning of the season.
Right. And that's what it is a little bit, is that, earlier in the episode, mentioning that Abram, because of his international call-ups, maybe that is a factor, not just form, in that's why he's not really in the 11. Because Williams, unlikely to be called up. So, you have the continuity. You have a guy that's, the more that the partnership can grow, the better. And, let's be real, Abram last year, serviceable, but wasn't exactly pulling up trees with his performances. There were some moments that were a little shaky. So, likely it's going to be Williams. But, in terms of the goalkeeper, Guzan, I mean, some people might be kind of like, oh, he should have done better on the goal. I don't see that at all. Versus Heel, it's just, yeah, he didn't have a chance. It's basically...
It's Carlos Heel. He gets one. He's allowed one every game, apparently.
Right. And so, Guzan versus Cohen, it's not changing for me, at least for this match. I think it's going to be Guzan for a little bit more time until, eventually... I think Cohen does come in later on in the season. But what about you guys?
Yeah, same. Like Guzan has to essentially lose his position to Cohen for him to give that up. I don't think they're just gonna, like I said, I don't think they're just gonna change for the shits and giggles. They're gonna do it because of meritorious performance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would pretty much echo that. I mean, there's a lot of question. People watch that right digit of Guzan's age rise, but then he opens the season with a terrific outing, saves a penalty. Unfortunately, dropped the game 1-0, but a 1-0 result away at the team that just won the cup is really not anything to be too disappointed on. It didn't crush me personally as a loss. We do need to show that we can beat them, but we got them in the Benz later in the year, and I think as long as he stays healthy, I think it's Guzan's job to lose. I would absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Guzan has a much better defense this year. Before, a lot of people were very critical of him, rightfully so. But a lot of those goals and a lot of those things that happen, I mean, the defense left him out to dry. So I mean, like, he's gonna do better this season just because of the sheer nature of having better defenders around him in front of him. So, but regardless, yes, Cohen eventually, heir apparent, needs to get some minutes.
Right, and the more emphasis on a defensive shape, a defensive responsibility from Pineda, definitely should help that as well. But guys, let's get into the score prediction then. We got it from Kyle a little bit, but if there's some other predictions in that, let us know.
Yeah, my bad on the leak there, but I'm going to stay true to it. 4-0. I think we clean it up this week on the defensive end. Again, I would really love to see Dax in there. That's part of my lineup prediction is associated with the score. I think he could really hold it down just due to his experience and kind of take on Olerenovic's role. Make sure if Galisa is still in the game at that point, either, he's sort of marking in the midfield area as they come forward and then, transitioning off to the defense and just kind of being a general. You look at Mayumba, I mean, he was with us last year. He's got more of a leadership role. You hope he can go 90 this match and kind of do the same thing. As far as who scores the goals, this guy with the number 7 on his jersey is on a tear, especially with the way that we play. And if you watch how, Orlando was susceptible when they went south to Fort Lauderdale a couple weekends ago, and even against Minnesota, I think the tank holds it down and scores maybe 2 or 3 of those, and then stars shine in big games. I think Almada adds 1 or 2 himself.
I like it because definitely number 7's scoring hat tricks against Orlando City. I mean, there's precedence.
About that.
And back to back as well. We also know something about that, so it's something that's hopefully can happen. Michael, what do you think?
So I know why you're all here. You all watched my score prediction from last week, and you were amazed at how I could be so accurate and so right. Like, I mean, everyone was saying, there's no way that we completely rip New England into pieces. But what did I say? We're going to walk all over this team in terms of the score line, and we absolutely did. So, of course, you're here to see what I'm going to say in order for you to make your bet so you can win a lot of money. I'm going to say 3-1. I think that's what's going to happen. I don't know if Gigi's going to get a hat trick here. I think what's going to happen is what Pineda is essentially trying to do in terms of our attack is that you don't know where the knife is going to come from. We have so many daggers coming at you at the same time. Orlando's defense isn't going to know who to mark, when, how, what have you. and then that ball will slip to one of the guys who makes the run. Could be any 5 of our players who like to get in the box, and then all of a sudden that's a goal. So much like, the Miami game from last season, where we were just peppering them from all different kinds of players. They had no idea which way to turn. So I'm going to go 3-1. I'm not quite I just feel like it's going to be another silly, like Nico Ladero scoring a worldie, because why not? Because apparently that's just what happens. We're allergic to clean sheets for some reason. So it's like, I don't know, it's like a tax or something we have to pay. So it is what it is, but that's what I'm going with, 3-1.
Right. And because, you were accurate last week about the deficit anyway, in terms of, or the difference, the goal
differential.
difference.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so, it's, it was 3-0. What you predicted ended up 4-1. And, I predicted the amount of goals that were scored. So, possibly there's some magic in this as well. Yeah. So
in the universe where everyone's like, we're gonna lose, or 0-0, or 1-1, 2-2, and I'm like, okay, well, we'll see.
hopefully not. Yeah, but
it's the ultimate tiebreaker though, because like you said, in the last 6 we're 2-2-2. So unless we draw again and add more, drama to it, I think this is where we start to act like what Atlanta acts like when we play Orlando, and that is dominant.
Exactly, and that's hopefully what it is. I'm maybe not as bullish on the defense. Unfortunately, it's a derby. There tends to be some goals, at least at the Benz. In Orlando, maybe a little bit different story. There's a little bit more, I think, draws there sometimes, but because they can't really protect their house. But so I think it's a 3-2 LA United win. Lots of goals again. But, I think we're still getting our bearings a little bit on our defense. Not sure where the goals are going to come from, but in terms of from Orlando. But, a GG brace sounds delightful. And, maybe Saba gets his first of the year. I feel like, the wings can definitely be had on Orlando. I think they'll play us pretty tough in midfield, but I think there's space in behind that we can exploit, and that's where we can really try to hurt this team. And so
Thiago's gonna dial in eventually. It might be this game. Yeah. So he was close last game, but clearly he was just a little off. So hopefully he can really do something.
Right. Yeah, that's not a bad shout either if you're a betting man. Is that Almada?
Do you think any penalties are in this game?
I don't think there are any penalties, but it could be there could be, absolutely, but I feel like it doesn't seem that type of match where it'll be just a lot of susceptibility in the box. I feel like there's gonna be a little bit more where we're playing outside of the box, and then our goals probably are a little bit more dead ball situations, and maybe that Saba kind of somewhere from outside, maybe. So we'll see. But guys, let us know in the comments below what you guys think in terms of lineup, score prediction, all of that. But that, guys, is almost pretty much the entire episode except for the question of the day. And the question of the day is, which player needs a chant? Very apropos in the episode. So obviously some guys already have a chant, but maybe they need a new one. Maybe they there's one that you want to pitch it to ATL Gulch on Instagram. Exactly. Yeah, they will take it in, and there will be some awesomeness, I'm sure, that ensues. So, but guys, let us know in the comments below what you guys think. Looking forward to what you have to say. But guys, that is the episode there and there. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. For Michael and Kyle, thank you so much for joining us, by the way. And yeah, guys, we'll see you in the next video, and thank you so much for watching.